Hello everyone. In the rest of this module, we're going to look at how to handle users' touches. As you can see, as in the last lecture, we've implemented this scroll view. A scroll view essentially handles touches for you. It lets users do two things, pan, which makes the scroll view pan, as well as zoom, which is really a pinching gesture, as you can see. Sort of like when you do this, you're sort of pinching at the screen. Now, they do these are implemented through gesture recognizers, and by their name it tells you that it helps you recognize gestures. And actually you can do all of this yourself without the help of UI scroll view, and we're going to try that today. So a gesture recognizer is an object that you can actually add in the storyboard as well. For example, in the object library, if you type gesture recognizer, you get all the kinds of recognizers you can add to your view. Let me enlarge this a bit. As you can see, there's a tap recognizer, a pinch, which is what I'm talking about for the zooming, rotation gesture recognizer, which recognizes some, rotation, a swipe gesture recognizer, pan, which is what is used for the panning of the scroll view, and the screen edge pan recognizer, which is an interesting one, which lets you recognize a pan that originates from outside of the screen, basically, and is what you would use, what you see being used for sort of the automatic back feature on navigation views. And also a long press gesture recognizer, which recognizes when you tap and hold, basically, for a while. So today we're going to add the double tap to zoom feature to this app, to this scroll view. So we can scroll, we can zoom, but it would be cool if we can sort of double tap or double click since we're in the simulator and have it zoom in. And so that is actually easily handled by the tap gesture recognizer. Okay, so you drag the the recognizer here by holding it, and you can add it into your view, and you can choose which view it gets attached to. So since we want this image view, and it's the only one we can add it to here, if you let go, it'll get added here. And if you right click on it, it will say it's connected to the image views gesture recognizers, which is what you want. And it's actually, you can connect multiple gesture recognizers to different places. And actually that's not true. We don't want to add it to the image view. We want it to be on the scroll view. So you want to tap on the scroll view and it will zoom instead of what's inside the scroll view, which is image view. So if you get rid of that, you should be able to drag it to scroll view gesture recognizers, and it will replace that image view with the scroll view. And it also can have an action, which is great, which was what will be called when it is recognized. So we're going to go into the code here, and we're going to press create an outlet for this. So hold Option or Alt, click on View Controller to open it side by side. And what we're going to do here is Control Drag the tap gesture recognizer and create an outlet for it under filter button here. We're going to call it zoom tap gesture recognizer. All right, and maybe all the way down here to the bottom again. We'll add an action for it, and again, just like a button, it works just like a button. Drag it over and call it on tap. Oops. That was incorrect. We forgot to make it an action instead of an outlet. So if you right click on here, we can delete on tap and do that again. Make sure it's an action, call it on tap, and it gets the tap gesture recognizer as an argument, as the sender. All right. So that's it for now. Let's build and run. Let's actually add a breakpoint here to see if this works. So once the app runs, you can do it on a device as well. I'm going to just click on the anywhere and we'll get this action. Cool. So you can click on anywhere you want. And it doesn't interfere with your other features, such as zooming and even panning. That's pretty interesting, and that's because you can handle this any way you want. The scroll view already has two gesture recognizers, and to recognize us, when it recognizes a pan, it'll automatically cancel the recognition of a tap. So you won't get this call here. But you can actually change that. You can make it so that the tap always does the tap and you'll never be able to pan. But we should be happy right now that this is what we want. But actually this is not exactly what we want. We want a double tap. So right now it calls every time you tap once instead of twice. And we're going to change that by scrolling up to, if you look, we're going to do this on view did load because we have to do this once. Gesture recognizer has everything we need, has lots of options. And one very convenient one is number of taps required. Then this one, of course, only exists on the tap gesture recognizer. And we're going to change that to 2. Run again. And now if you tap once, nothing happens. I'm tapping here. You can trust me. But if I double tap, it triggers. And this is also very smart. Like, it's not going to just, if I double tap very slowly, it won't trigger either. So it's exactly what we want. It's basically number of taps. You change it to 2, and that's what it will do. Interestingly, you can change that to as much as you want. You can make it like a 5-tap recognizer, which might be useful in some cases, but try not to make your users ever try to use that. All right, so the last thing we're going to do here is just increase our zoom. This will be quite interesting. We don't have an outlet for our scroll view yet. Just realized, because we added that last time and we didn't need one. So we're going to just add that. Not the secondary menu, inside the view controller of our scroll view. And Command Z that. You want to drag the scroll view here. We're going to call it our scroll view. All right, back down to our function. All we're going to do is change the zoom scale on the scroll view and increase it by like 1.5. And this is going to be very rough, but let's see what happens. Hey, not too bad. You can scroll in. I think it scrolls in towards the center. That's not too bad. With some more code, some more logic, you can easily make it zoom into what you're tapping. Even this is probably animatable, if you still remember how to do that. There's animate with duration on UI view. And we're going to pick the simplest one. Animate with duration. Say 0.4 seconds. And we're just going to drop this in there. And we'll have a nice animated zooming. Except that since it's an enclosure now, we have to reference with self. And the compiler will happily tell you to do that. Nice. All right, so that's it for this lecture. You can check out the other gesture recognizers. They're really simple to use. You can add them to any view you want. And in the next lecture, we'll come back and see how to do this without gesture recognizers.